town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode.
All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Blank Gameweek 32 podcast episode number 59. We've got Rushant after a long time, I should say. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've actually been on the pod now.
Yeah.
I've just been really busy with a few things.
Mhm.
But yeah, been trying to tick along my FPL rank, trying to keep up. Had a few bad red arrows.
Since the restart, yeah. And then,
Restart.
yeah.
doesn't work. But just, yeah, trying to maintain and trying to hopefully better with this week.
The last few weeks, I guess you've done pretty decently. So you
Yeah,
improved
it's very
slightly.
like,
up and down, up and down.
up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Still in the 200k mark, but
All right. So we'll see. Now, you're playing a free hit this week, if I'm not
I am.
mistaken. Yep. And I am not playing a free hit this week because I think my squad is set up for what most people are going to be free hitting. So we'll discuss the free hit options and the non-free hit options as well, because both of us are in different situations. And also we will, I think the panel team also needs to be doing a free hit this week because there are too many players that are blanking. So we'll do a free hit draft at the end as well. Having said that, let's get started straight away. So, moving forward, these are the fixtures. We got 8 fixtures to discuss, and obviously most of the free hit players are going to be stuck from only a few fixtures. So we'll go fixture by fixture. And I've also got like team attack stat, defense stats, forwards, mids, defenders, goalkeepers, if you want to like touch on them. These are all last 6 game weeks stats. So, starting with Arsenal Southampton, from what I've seen on Twitter and various other content, it seems like triple Arsenal is what everyone is talking about in terms of free hit. Mostly people are talking about triple Arsenal attack. Where are you on?
Yeah, I mean, like triple Arsenal is no question. I think it's a no-brainer for this week. Probably one of the most favourable fixture for Arsenal, especially in this round. Yeah, I'm still making my choices. I think there's just too many to choose from, and it's really where I'm going to hedge my bets on whether Arsenal, keep a clean sheet or not. So, knowing Southampton have the tendency to sort of have the weird set piece goals, and that goal threat's always going to be there, and they've got an elite set piece taker like James Ward-Prowse, my double game week hero. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a consideration of going triple Arsenal attack, and there's also the option of going with the balanced, one defender and double attack. So I'm still not stuck with anything just yet. I'm still tweaking with my free hit. I think there's a couple of players I think will be a lock, and then it'll just be that third, potentially
Arsenal
third
squad. Yeah.
squad. Yeah,
Okay.
sort of works out. Yeah.
So Arsenal, in terms of attack, are right. They're currently second. Only Brighton are above them, and this is sorted by minutes per XG because few teams have played more games. I didn't want to like sort it by XG because then it'll just be stat padding. However, Southampton are by minutes per XG in the last 6 game weeks, second bottom. So struggling to score goals, you would say, and a lot of people are talking triple Arsenal attack. Maybe there is a case for defense. Having said that, they haven't really been keeping clean sheets per se. However, you've been getting Ben White returns. So he's somehow getting returns, even though clean sheets aren't happening. So
Yeah. I think he's pretty nailed on. That's the good thing with the
Mm.
defenders. There's no rotation in defense.
Yeah, because the rest are injured.
Correct. That's the thing, especially at right back when Tomiyasu is injured.
Yeah.
And I mean, across the board, Arsenal players are pretty easy to predict who's going to play. Arteta pretty much goes with a safe, similar starting 11. And especially now with the title race getting closer, they're going to look to play their strongest 11. But yeah, I think Ben White has been pretty good. Gabriel is still the threat, I would say, in defense. Until Saliba comes back, I think that's a bit of a hole in terms of why they can't keep the clean sheet. And you saw last game when they were up 2-0 and people went to bed thinking Arsenal's going to win, and West Ham came back from nowhere. So yeah, definitely something to consider.
Yeah, like Gabriel is here, but Ben White is slightly higher than him. I think the edge has been cut off sadly, but you guys can kind of make the gist of where they are. So yeah, Arsenal defense may be something to consider, because at least a clean sheet, at least for once, maybe I'm kind of confident with a clean sheet. I don't know. It's hard to say. They have been conceding unnecessarily. In terms of defense, though, they are mid-table. So they don't really keep a clean sheet per se, sorted by minutes per XG considered. And then Southampton are slightly below Arsenal as well. So I think goals are probably on the case for this for Arsenal. And like you mentioned, forwards, Gabriel Jesus right up there, even above Haaland now at the moment.
Yeah.
For minutes
Pretty much it's like where we started the season off, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Haaland Jesus is back at it again, and yeah, I'd actually say he's one of my nailed players. I would say this week. He's just so involved. He's been the focal point of the attack ever since his return after injury, and you can see the rise of Martinelli as well. How they sort of sync together. So yeah, I think Saka's appeal has sort of gone down.
Yeah.
And I think especially with his penalty miss, people will start transferring him out. So I think that combo of Jesus Martinelli is what I'll be looking at, especially for the long run as well.
Yeah,
people
fair enough.
Don't have wild cards.
Yeah, that's also true. Like, because I think Jesus is one of those players on a free hit this week that will be a differential. A lot of the free hit you see a lot of free hit players already in your team that's already there, but then the slight differential are like the likes of Jesus, where other non-free hit managers like myself probably can't really get there. Probably already on triple Arsenal as well.
Exactly.
Then you've got in midfield Martinelli right on top. Saka is in this list, but mid-table slightly below Martinelli. I think Roy also mentioned this before, where once Jesus is back, that link up with Martinelli is more better, and then those two are better combination compared to with Saka. Unfortunately,
I just saw a different stat as well. We post that the Saliba injury is also playing a bit of a part in Saka not being so involved. So I think Saliba plays right centre back from memory, and he's got those long passes. Typically, his outlet passes to Saka. And that usually creates a lot of chances for Saka. So that I think I don't know. I mean, it's probably a bit too philosophical and probably a bit too of a dive deep, but that could also be playing a part in Saka's.
Yeah, probably. We don't know. Obviously, the penalty miss was a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I still think he'll be on penalties as well.
He's still a good player. He's still very good. I know that one game is not going to really change it too much. And if people are going with Saka in the free hit, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. I think he's still a very favorable option for this week. Especially on the free hit, he's a very favorable option.
Yeah, fair enough. I would agree as well. So him, Martinelli, Jesus. And then I guess that's where Odegaard probably fourth. I don't know. Depends on if you want to be differential.
Exactly. I think that's the thing. Those four are definitely the choices to choose from. It really depends how you want to play it. Whether you want to bring in Odegaard in as, I don't even know if he's a differential anymore. He's got that such a sweet price point where people probably already have him, and he could be an enabler for someone else, for Salah, for example, this week. So yeah, you never know. I think anything out of the four is pretty good combination.
Yeah, exactly. From Southampton point of view, I don't think you'll be going there at all, because they haven't looked great.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that they're due a return at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if they score against Arsenal.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know if you're gonna reek so many goals and they're
Yeah,
not gonna but I think there'll definitely be a chance or two that
yeah,
I feel like they might capitalize.
yeah,
But and again, saying that FPL wise, yeah, definitely stay away from Southampton
yeah.
this game.
Fair enough. Yeah, I probably agree as well. Your options are limited, especially on a free hit. It's like 11 players. However, the next game, Fulham versus Leeds. Leeds, if I've just touched on the defense, bottom the last 6 game weeks.
Is that taking into account the last game against Liverpool as well?
That is taking into account that as well. So that might have impacted it a bit. But even then, they're still pretty bad defensively, somewhat.
Yeah.
Fulham also, I wouldn't say are anywhere good in terms of defense. Their number, I did suggest Leno on a free hit draft, but now looking at it, I'm like a bit more skeptical on it. Because their defense is also not the best in the last few weeks. However, their attack also, it's a mixed bag. They're bottom 4 for attack, whereas Leeds' attack is slightly better. So it's a mixed bag. I mean, depends. Maybe you might be able to get something from this game as a differential, but I'm not guaranteeing anything.
I mean, look, there's plenty of cheaper options in this game. So, I mean, in terms of assets who you might want to pick on, Andreas, as an example, is what 4.5 or 4.4 or something as a midfielder. William is sort of being looked at free hit drafts. Harrison in Leeds is also another option. So I think there's not many defensive considerations, I would say, in any of these teams. Attack wise, it could be that fifth midfielder where you potentially choose one as really your bench option. I don't really see anyone starting anyone in this game unless they see a potential differential in Andreas or someone from.
It's probably that fifth midfield option where you
it's that fifth midfield option and where you sort of toss up who you want to start close to the deadline is what I'm really thinking. But no, I don't think anyone's really if Mitrovic was there and depending on Fulham's form, maybe there's something to consider. But the state of the strikers is just too good where I don't really think he'll fit anyway. So in a nutshell, I don't think so for this game week. But definitely there's some players who I would probably look at like Andreas and stuff if we were to wildcard next week and things like that, depending on fixtures. But for this game week, I don't really see much happening.
Yeah, fair enough. And for those who are here on Monday stream, and I'm going to suggest Leno. Now looking at the numbers, I probably backtrack on that. Wouldn't probably go there because I think Leeds will probably score, or they find a way to score. Brentford versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa are knocking on European fixtures. They are currently 6th, if I'm not mistaken. Looking at the table, they are 6th on the table, 3 points behind Spurs.
Emery's just turned them around, huh?
I know, right?
It's ridiculous. Like you just, I've been overlooking the Aston Villa defensive assets.
Mings and Moreno.
I keep telling myself they're going to concede this week. This is the week they're going to consider, and then they keep smashing it, and that's why you can see they're second on that list in defense.
I know. Look at that team defense, second. So they started off under Emery a bit open, and they've improved after that. And now, as you can see, just behind City in terms of defense.
That's 5 clean sheets in 6 games, right?
5 clean sheets in 7 games they played in the last 6 game weeks. Yep, it's insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And Watkins is just on a different level.
Yes,
he's just ripping it. So yeah, I think even though they've got an away fixture this week, Watkins is probably one of the favorable options for your free hit this week.
Yeah, he's had the most big chances out of all these strikers, and scored the most amount of goals as well in the last 6.
And the most shots inside the box. He's on penalties. The man's a freak of nature. I think. It'll be really hard for me to see not going without Watkins this week. Brentford, on the other hand, is kind of interesting. I think leading up to that game, I thought that they're gonna do really well against Wolves.
Yep.
Hence why I had a Brentford defender starting, but. I looked at the game. Wolves looked pretty attacking, but the chances they got were they weren't really solid.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Just a few sort of unlucky goals, I'd say, for Brentford. So I'd expect Brentford to rebound back this game.
Yeah, they're at home as well.
They're at home as well, but in saying that, I still think it will be a sort of a 1-1 or a 2-2, like that kind of scoreline.
Yeah, there are probably goals in this game. If
There's definitely
anything,
going to be goals in this game. Yeah, I'll be very surprised if it's a 0-0.
yeah, that's what. If anything, the chances of someone keeping a clean sheet, I think even probably lies with uh, Villa more than they lie with Brentford at the moment.
Correct.
Even
Just
though,
with
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think Watkins is probably someone everyone would like to get in.
Yeah.
From a non-free hit point of view, I'm happy to have Rea in this because the guy, even though he tends to lose his clean sheets, still manages to rack up.
It's 8 points.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Villa, I think defense, you can probably go. Moreno looks very attacking
Yeah.
as an option for free hitters if they want to go there. He's currently 5th on this list. XGI 1.96, I think that is. So 13 chances created, which is 3rd after Chilwell and Trippier in the last 6 game weeks.
I think Villa players actually, at least for the next few game weeks, they got Fulham, got United away. It's a bit hard game, but they got Wolves and Spurs after. So they're sort of still in the short to medium term. They're pretty good.
Decent, yeah.
So it's not a bad pick.
Yeah.
In saying that though, I still think Tony would be still a good pick for this week in terms of free hit. I think Brentford are due some goals and they look to rebound back after that loss. Again, Tony, just with how good he is, and again, he's on the stats list as well. I definitely say he'd be one player to consider.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree as well. Tony, I think, is a pretty good option this week as well. Especially with Brentford being at home, you kind of have to give them some kind of chance, and he probably is that guy to kind of give them a chance.
Yep.
Palace, Everton. Palace have been flavor of the last few weeks with Roy Hodgson just smashing in the goals. Where are they in the stats? Team attack, they've kind of improved. I don't know what the last 2 game weeks would say, but they've gone a bit up compared to where they were before. Unable to score goals. Now,
it's interesting, like even after, so they're still in that position after their 2 wins, which means you can see how bad they were before.
Yeah, exactly.
Everton
slightly below though.
Yeah.
Defense-wise, Everton are bottom 3. Palace are top 3. Interestingly, which is why a lot of people are considering Johnston. Let me go to the goalkeeper section. Points per start 6.5 last 6 game weeks. So people are considering him as a free hit keeper option this week. So for anyone looking at that, defensive wise, maybe he could be an option. I don't know. But what do you think about Palace in general?
Yeah, can we go back to the defensive stats for Palace? Because I'm just very interested in it. Because they kept 1 clean sheet.
Yes. Sorry. Bad. 1 clean sheet, 9 goals conceded, 7 games played. I will quickly get up Palace's results.
I mean, while they're doing that, I mean, in saying that, so I think the appeal for the players is somewhat like Brighton, where the midfielders have those mid-range options. Where we were at a point where with Brighton we just didn't know which midfielders to choose, and I just feel like we're in a similar situation with the Palace midfielders, where you've got Elise, you got Eze, and you got Jordan Ayew, all of which obviously have been very involved in the attack.
Yep.
Elise is probably the more creative one. Is on set pieces. Eze obviously scored 2 goals last game, but Jordan Ayew probably has the most penalty touches in the penalty box. So yeah, they're all very interesting. How far can they keep carrying their current form? And were those 2 games a bit of a blip?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a small sample size.
Definitely.
The one thing is, those 2 games have been away games. This is the first home game, I think, under Roy Hodgson, probably, if I'm not mistaken.
Everton hasn't been that great.
No.
They've been really poor.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Palace just keep continuing their run good. And go pretty hard this game. But I'm not convinced just yet. But then again, I don't think I'll have too many games to wait.
Yeah, fair enough.
To be convinced. And if you're free hitting, definitely you will be picking some Palace players here, whether it be defense or an attack.
Yeah, fair enough. The only thing is, again, like Arsenal, where it's very hard to predict where the goals come. You could pick as like last week, I think Olise was the talk, and then everyone went for Olise, and then Eze scored. Now Eze is the talk, and I think everyone will go for Eze, and then Olise will score.
I do like the Johnson pick. I think
Yeah.
for me, for the goalkeeper, I think he'll be one of the preferred choices this week.
He
Had
he's
like 9 points last game, right?
4.4
Yeah.
and 9 points last week. So he had the last few results for Palace: 2-0 win in Southampton, 5-1 against Leeds, 2-1 against Leicester. They lost 4-1 to Arsenal away, and lost 1-0 to Brighton away, and lost 1-0 to City away. So those are the kind of like last few results. So the major goals that I've considered were from Arsenal. The rest have been like max was 2 goals against Leicester. Everything else was like 1 goal.
They tend to do pretty well against the bigger teams as well, which is interesting. In terms of players to consider, I'll be straight away looking at some of those midfield options as, again, you know who to choose from, but
none in here, but
I still think it's worth a punt.
Yeah, fair enough.
At least, especially with they're playing at home against Everton.
Yep.
I'm not going to say double up or triple up, but at least you could have a one player to consider.
Yeah, fair enough. Is this like 5.5? Odyssey also same price.
Someone like that, just to consider. But again, you probably have better options elsewhere when you do finish up your free hit team.
Yeah, fair enough.
In defense, you got Gehi. Is it Gehi?
Guehi, yeah, 4.4.
Yep. He's also good priced player.
Yeah.
Everton I just don't know where the goals are going to come from Everton, but I just don't see them scoring really.
They had that tiny bounce, but after that, it's just gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think Crystal Palace defense, based on the stats and obviously against how bad Everton actually are, it definitely feels favorable.
Yep, fair enough. Shout out to Easy Shark in the chat as well. So if you guys have any questions, let us know and we'll answer it at the end. Leicester Wolves. Obviously, Leicester new manager still seem pretty bad. Wolves have improved in the last couple of games. Or at least last 2 games they've had clean sheets, but those are both home games for them. So another away fixture. Think Leicester get anything from this? I had Madison. I sold Madison.
Yeah, it was a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have if I didn't see the Wolves game last week.
Yeah.
And I saw this fixture, I would probably have gone with some Leicester players. A couple of things to consider for Leicester now. They got Harvey Barnes is injured.
Yeah.
They are in a bit of a slump. Madison has been in and out of teams. I would still give them a chance this free hit in terms of players to consider, because they still have that attacking prowess. So they have
mid-table, but they do have options.
And it's Leicester. You just don't know. Like, you know, sometimes the most unexpected of the games, you just see them score like 3 to 4 goals.
Yeah. I mean, defense, like you said, right? Wolves had like those off-type goals. Like they're still bottom 3 for attack, Wolves. But defense, though, where is Leicester? Leicester are still mid-table. Wolves are slightly better than mid-table. Defense-wise. So their defense has improved. So I don't know. It's very hard to tell.
Yeah, it's a really hard game to choose players from. Really, I think Wolves. I'm not really convinced by anyone from Wolves just yet. Madison is probably the closest player I would choose to pick in a midfield option. Defense potentially with Castagne. If you really think Wolves aren't going to score, if you really bank on their attack being, but from what I saw last week, they're pretty attacking and pretty worried about having a Leicester defender.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
so you probably have better options.
I really don't know. I really if it probably will be like a game time call if I want to play Madison or not.
Yep.
But yeah, apart from Madison, I don't think I'll be considering anyone else.
Yeah,
fair
enough. Liverpool versus Forest. Liverpool have improved. Or well, have they? They've always been attacking wise pretty good. They're 4th on the charts. They've always been in the top for attacking wise. But it seems like they've managed to get all their players back, which is what's kind of changed. And Trent is playing a new role as well with this inverted fullback.
Just a fancy term, isn't it?
I know Guardiola is this. Klopp has decided to play like Guardiola these days. You know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like it. I think Liverpool's they've always been a very, very interesting attacking team to watch. FPL wise, they've been great over the last few seasons. And they proved it like last game. They just literally destroyed
Smashed.
Leeds,
It's yeah.
and right just when you have this sort of game week coming up where you've got this free hit game week. So yeah, similar to that Arsenal Southampton game, I would say if probably the favorable, if not probably the more favorable option is the Liverpool Forest game.
Forest have a lot of injuries.
Forest is, I
If you,
mean,
you watch the United game, United peppered Forest.
I don't know how Fernandes didn't
I
have.
know Fernandes should have hauled. I told him and I was like, I wish he hauled for those who had him, but yeah, he should have hauled in that game. So imagine what Liverpool could probably do.
Yeah, correct. And like you mentioned, they've got everyone back from injury as
Yeah.
well. Jota's back, Van Dijk's back, Thiago's back in midfield. They've just got everyone. Nunes is back. So yeah, I think this will be a very, very favorable game for Liverpool, and I think this will be a very high scoring game.
Yeah. And so the question with Liverpool is like a lot of people are going for double defense has been the thing because of the minutes uncertainty amongst the attacking, and you can kind of see why because Forest are bottom for attack at the moment. Defense wise, Liverpool are mid-table though, which kind of agrees because they haven't really kept clean sheets per se. They're always very suspect to concede chances. So would you go double again? This is like the Arsenal question, and for Ishak, who's just asking about the Arsenal defense as well. Similar to Arsenal defense, like they've not really been consistent in keeping clean sheets, but they're coming up against opposition who aren't well known for scoring. Having said that, maybe the attack has slightly better options. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options in test. I think they're in a very, very similar situation with Arsenal, but I think that their defenders have a little bit more value. With Trent and Robertson definitely are
more attacking options.
Yeah, it's a different team mentality. So I think I would really consider Trent as a midfielder at this point. He's playing a midfield really as well, but you just see a lot more favorable returns from those two, especially over the Arsenal defense. So I think there's no wrong play in going double Liverpool defense, although a couple of things to consider. There's obviously way more attacking options available. Robertson didn't play last game, which is again a minute's risk for you. Liverpool have nothing else to play for, so they will go hard. So even though there's a bit of minutes restriction in there, or it could be a rotation in their forward line, I still think they'll go with the similar sort of players. Like the only real players that are going to be in risk of rotation are probably Nunes and Jota. Seen last game.
Robertson played last game, but I'm just checking.
Oh, which game did he play? The game before?
He played in 29 in the double, where he missed because of Simicas.
Sorry,
maybe that happens.
Sorry, yeah. Correct. Yeah, I think the Van Dijk not being there initially in the midfield, that really affected them, which is why Liverpool, you could see that they were conceding so many goals, and I think their defensive stats probably don't show that, with Van Dijk, without Van Dijk, they'd be a much better team. So Salah, obviously, there's no doubt about not including him. He's back on the cards for those who really wanted to get him in for game week 31. I managed to hold him from.
Yeah, I remember last time you came, you were like, "This guy's going to be a trap," and then he goes and scores.
I've been carrying him through all those 1 point a game week, so I only deserve some points from him. So I think Salah and Trent are really going this week pretty much the most locked in players. Like, there's literally no question about that. Third choice is again coming down to Gakpo, Jota, Nunes, Robertson, Van Dijk. Really, I mean, I would really consider Van Dijk as well. Set piece threat. He's a lot of BPS. Potential, especially if not Forest are going to be not scoring. So I don't know. Again, similar conundrum with Arsenal. Not really sure who my third Liverpool player would be.
Yeah, fair enough. Like for those who can't afford a Liverpool defender, like I'm in a situation where I can't really reach Trent or Robertson unless I sell Gabriel, which I don't really want to do on a non-free hit. And then Van Dijk is a person I can actually afford. So again, you're looking for Liverpool, that third spot again, Liverpool's third spot. That's obviously just like Arsenal, where that third Arsenal spot is anyone you can go for, basically. And I think they're all pretty good options in their own way.
Yeah, I think the other thing that also came up is Diaz as well. Is he back from injury?
He played a few minutes the last week. Now I don't think Klopp is going to start him again. So that's where the minutes risk from the forwards comes in. Where I think they'll get like 60 to 70 minutes, like Gakpo and maybe Darwin starts. I don't know over Jota. I don't know. It's hard to say, but the others
And why
should
would
get.
why would he bench Jota after he just scored 2
I
goals on
know
it?
that's not.
That's
So I'm expecting the same team to actually start. And then they get 60, 70 minutes, maybe depending on game state. And then
yes.
probably the other come on, basically.
Yep.
So that's probably what's going to happen. Bournemouth versus West Ham. Bournemouth, you had Solanke.
As the bench.
Yes.
Yep.
Playing a West Ham team who do have Europe this week. So it's not going to be a West Ham team that is fresh.
No.
And their current scoreline, I think, is 1-1 versus Genk, if I'm not mistaken. So that game could go to extra time as well if needed. So we don't know. So Bournemouth, Solanke, third striker option.
Yeah,
maybe?
I think West Ham is good. Like you said, that Euro fixture a couple of days before the fixture is going to play a bit of an impact. So yeah, I'd expect a bit of rotation, or at least 45 minutes, whatever, 50 minutes, risks for players. Bournemouth is looking very good attacking wise. Solanke, yeah, it's a beast. Really the focal point. I kind of was interested in Solanke a few weeks ago. I brought him in because I saw he looked so close. He was literally in front of the goal majority of the time he had the ball. So yeah, he's a good shout. Billing as well in midfield is probably a good shout. West Ham, on the other hand,
Benrahma.
They do have a few options, right? Like
Benrahma is fourth in this list. But then that's also because the penalty and whatnot.
Yep. And they also have defensive options as well with Zuma and
Although I feel like their chances of keeping a clean sheet are not the best. They're second bottom for defense. However, Bournemouth also bottom 4. So again, another fixture where you probably expect goals, to be honest.
Yeah, I think defensive factors will be out. Although if you do see, because West Ham do have some good fixtures after, if I'm not wrong.
I believe so. Let me just quickly get that up.
Yeah, I think West Ham players are still an okay shout because they do have a double as well.
So Bournemouth and then Liverpool next. But after that, they got the double of Palace and City. United, Brentford, Leeds, and Leicester. So I think it's the bottom 3 that Brentford, Leeds, Leicester, maybe.
The bottom 3 that you have, you potentially consider them for in the free hit, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, in the 34 if you want to fill in double game week players. I don't know. I'm not really leaning towards any West Ham players.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth, if you were to pick a third striker spot, if you have that slot, Solanke would be the one to go for.
Yeah, fair enough. Then the final game. This is a game where obviously will be filled with a lot of non-free hitters who would have players from this. But I've seen also free hit drafts. Some have Kane and Trippier covering EO perspective. Me personally, I think if you're going on a free hit, you either have one of them or don't have any of them, is where I am kind of at. Because I feel like just going for both of them makes your free hit even more template, especially if you're trying to chase rank, I feel like. But then what do you think?
Yeah, I think, like you said, most people having Trippier and Kane is just purely to maintain rank because like you probably have Trippier, which you're not going to drop for this game week and things like that. I agree with you. I would probably go with the completely different free hit team because you do want to target those easy fixtures.
Yeah.
You do want it to be differential, but differential to the point where you have the much easier fixture. I don't really see the point of having Kane and Trippier playing each other. It's just I don't see like any benefit to your free hit that's going to really help.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't think going for like if you want to have, just pick one who you think is going to win the game and then back them. Don't go for both sides. I feel like that's a complete waste unless you're in like the top 10, 50k, whatever. I don't know. Even 50k is probably like if you're like in the top 10k somewhere, and then you're trying to maintain rank. I guess okay.
Yeah.
But like
I think Newcastle's the problem is that Newcastle defense is good.
Yeah.
But and Spurs attack is good. So it's like the defense versus
defense versus attack kind of situation.
and then Newcastle attack is good.
Newcastle, yes, better than
And
Spurs attack at the moment.
Spurs defense isn't that great.
Spurs defense actually is
Oh.
in the top, but Newcastle slightly better. However, having said that though, this is Newcastle at home, are slightly different beast compared to Newcastle away.
I still think Spurs will concede.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
Spurs
yeah.
will always concede.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised the stats are so high in defense, but they're going to concede. So coming back to that, it's really hard to predict who's going to win this game, right? I think it's just going to be like one of those.
This is a top 4 game. Very important game for top 4.
Good game for us,
Yeah.
for United fans, because you want to draw or something like that.
Exactly.
Which is why I'm predicting like a 1-1, 2-1 to Spurs sort of thing. It all depends how well, because Newcastle are coming from a loss.
Yes, so they want to bounce back.
So I mean, if I really was to free hit, I actually probably consider Newcastle attack. That's probably the safer option.
Isaac or Wilson?
Yes, whoever I think will start. Trippier is, I think Trippier and Kane, in terms of free hit, really puts a lot of. Trippier is fine if you think Newcastle are going to keep a clean sheet, which I don't think they will be. Kane is okay, but he's just too expensive for the free hit team to bring in someone who is not really a differential. I don't see him scoring 8 to 10 points against Newcastle defense.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you don't think he's going to score that much, then there's no point in having him in the team. So it's basically, it depends on each person's risk appetite, I guess, this fixture.
I think so. I think it depends what you're playing for, and if your purpose of the free hit is to maintain rank, and you're perfectly happy with having a bit of a mix. So I think you still probably have your other differential players, but if you do want to incorporate that little bit of a balance, in case, say, Trippier goes up with some returns and things like that. Yeah, I mean, look, they're not bad assets, right?
No, they're not.
Are pretty good assets. So it's not like we're forcing ourselves to bring in a Newcastle Spurs players. They're top defender and second high scoring.
Exactly.
So it's really a no-brainer in terms of the player quality. It's just really how you want to structure your team around it. So I'm not completely against it. Again, it depends how you want to play a free hit. If you are
fair enough. Agree. Same. So that's it for the fixtures. Attack, kind of like we mentioned, Brighton obviously not playing, so Arsenal are the best attack at the moment. City also not playing. Liverpool second best. So basically, these teams are going to be filled with like 6 players totally from both sides. And then obviously after that, it's your remaining 5 players are your somewhat differential, I guess. Even the 2 players from the slots, like, will have 1 Arsenal differential and 1 Liverpool differential, most likely.
Yes.
And then obviously in defense, we've got Villa, who have improved. Crystal Palace, anyone who wants a Crystal Palace defender maybe potentially could get some points there, like a Johnston. Brighton are playing Newcastle there, and then Spurs there. Spurs, I don't know how they're there, but they're there for some reason. And then quickly, forwards, Gabriel Jesus. I think if you're on a free hit, it's a no-brainer for me at least to go for him. Ian Nacho is there. Now, he did score against City. If I don't know if Dean Smith will actually start him or not. If he does start him...
Yeah, I'm worried about his minutes.
Yeah, that's the only problem. It's a decent option if we knew he was starting and showed off like good amount of minutes.
He is, but I would still say there are probably better options for strikers this week.
Fair enough. And then you got your Kane, you got your Tony, Watkins, Isak, Darwin Núñez there as well. And then Solanke as well in that top 15, I think this is, something like that. And then obviously we move into midfielders. Salah right on top. Captaincy?
Back where he belongs.
Yeah,
definitely. I think he's definitely in a captaincy. He's in such hot form. Definitely a captaincy shout, and probably will be a very popular. Probably will be the most captain player, I'd say. Yeah,
I think he's going to be, especially after those 2 goals. If he didn't score those 2 goals, I think would have been a bit more open. But now it's like he is probably a very good captaincy option. And then obviously you got your Martinelli. Willock is there as well, interestingly, but I don't know. Trossard could be back. We don't know. Depends on the situation.
Yeah.
If for some reason, obviously the Arsenal game is the first game, so maybe we get some leaks. I don't know, for team news. But yeah, that's basically it. And then your defense, Trent, Moreno, Trippier, Robertson. Guess we're going to be seeing a lot of them in.
Ailing's there up there in the top 6.
I know, right? But
Which is
they're not
great.
going to keep you clean sheets, so
Yeah, no.
that's the only problem. But the rest are like the usual cases. I'm expecting a lot of like Liverpool, Aston Villa defense.
Yeah. I think
Um,
this free hit is pretty like it's coming down to a group of a squad of maybe 20 players,
yes.
and you're gonna choose like 11.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
how it's gonna
Yeah,
come down
yeah.
to. So.
Goalkeepers, we've kind of like discussed. And then, yeah, we'll go to the teams. We'll do the free hit draft on the panel team as well. And then we'll end it. Rush, this was your team, 70 points. Obviously, you're playing the free hit. Solanke, unfortunate. Bad life. It happens. I remember when I
Let's talk about the zeros. I should get the points of the bench.
I know, right? I know. I remember when I benched Gabriel. I know your pain.
That's right. It happens.
Yeah. And then mine is on 68 with the -4 because of that. So I'm looking for a Liverpool player. We'll see. I haven't decided what exactly. But not playing the free hit because I think most of your free hit players will be very similar to what's on here, maybe somewhat.
Yep.
And then yeah, let's go to the panel team. Do a free hit draft and we'll call it. Panel team didn't do too well, unfortunately, because it had no Watkins. Came up with 55 points.
Yeah, average.
Yeah, red arrow, but still in the top 100k. So we're going to be playing a free hit because if you look at the team this week, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and not really the best options as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely need to free hit.
Yeah, so we're going to free hit this team. Let's play it. Where is my... I had to play it at the end. Okay, so goal, who would you go for?
This is the differential team, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. So this is good. I can choose the players who I don't really...
But it's still in the top 100k. We keep it
yeah,
in there.
yeah. Of course. I mean, you did talk about Leno in your Monday stream.
I did.
Yeah.
So I wasn't fully sure.
Yeah.
Having looked at the numbers back again, but he has actually, whenever needed, delivered at times, like 11 points against Brighton. So it's a
There was
possibility.
a run in the midweek before, so they had a pretty good run for them. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, look, let's talk about maybe a bench goalkeeper first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're probably going to only go with a cheap bench, right? Like probably the cheapest.
Yeah.
bench.
So I mean, I guess Iverson will play, right?
Yeah. Sure. Yep. And he has a game as well. So.
Yeah. I mean, I won't be surprised if he keeps a clean sheet, to be honest. But yeah. So then the question is, your goalkeeper, Johnston, Leno.
So we're going to obviously not have no Liverpool, no Arsenal because they're going to be elsewhere.
Yeah.
You got Villa playing Brentford. You don't want that. So I guess it's about which team we think will have the clean sheet in this fixture. And I think it just leans towards Crystal Palace.
Probably out of the lot, maybe. I mean, obviously Liverpool and Arsenal are knocked out, so they're not going because you're going to use someone else. So
yeah,
probably Crystal Palace. This is where I thought Leno also maybe because of that Leeds. I thought it was a possibility.
Yeah.
Newcastle, it's hard to say, but yeah.
I just feel like, and again, this is just me because of the fact that this is a differentiation.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will be leaning towards Johnston.
Yeah.
So I think we shouldn't go Johnston.
So we go with Leno.
I think we'll go with Leno for the first half. Yes.
Okay, we'll put Leno in, and then we'll share the free draft with others as well and see what they say. In defense, do we keep Trippier or?
I would say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is our defense like?
Well, we need to have one Liverpool defender.
Trent?
To start off with. Yep, Trent would work. That's all I know for now. Maybe we do our team. Maybe we do team by team. Let's fill in our Liverpool players.
Okay, so let's say we fill in our Liverpool players.
Yeah.
What are we? Let me remove everything then. Let's start with the Liverpool players. Who do we want? Salah.
I think Salah has to be there. It doesn't matter if it's differential or not.
Yeah. We need to maintain this top 100k. So who is your third Liverpool player?
So this will be someone who I think we probably want the differential player here, right? So it will be either the Jota or a Gakpo.
Let's go with a Gakpo for now and see if depends on what our front line ends up with and see whether Jota goes there or not.
Good. And then we got
Um,
Arsenal.
Arsenal, we go Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah. Or we could be, this is the point where we probably can do a triple Arsenal mid as a
Ooh.
differential.
So you say Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard.
Yep.
Potential.
This could be a differential. This could be a differential.
Yeah.
So we'll just see. We'll come back to this again. Like, definitely, I'm not forgetting Jesus.
Yeah. Okay, we'll come
But
back
now
to that.
but our midfield is done. So let's go back.
So then we go to our next favorite team. We go Aston Villa.
Yeah, I guess so. I think Watkins, again, like we
Yeah.
talked about in the beginning, you just can't not have him.
And then do you want an Aston Villa defender or do we
need to
expect
fill
them to
it
score?
somewhere. Yeah, we need to fill it with something. So we potentially could. Maybe we'll fill in a Bournemouth striker. Maybe we'll fill in. Yeah.
Bournemouth, Solanke.
Yeah.
I should tell people this is a differential team, so take that with a pinch. Take all of this
100%
as a pinch of salt. Yeah.
Defense. I guess we have to fill in some Crystal Palace defenders now because we have no goalkeeper. So
Wehi.
Yep.
Then you go to
Leicester defense.
Leicester defense. Oof.
Look, I don't think it's a bad shout.
Yeah.
Wolves attacking stats weren't that great.
So then that would be Castagne.
Yep.
Because I think he's the one who offers the more bonus points and everything. Brentford. Do we think Tony gets anything? Or not? Or do we go for Fulham? Are we playing a 3-5-2? Or what's the... Yeah, it looks like it.
3-5-2. Well, that's our 3-5-2, really.
Technically, yeah.
I mean, the rest would just be pretty much bench options if we were to choose something. So I think let's look at our team. I mean, this is it, right? So I think defense just feels a bit weak. But again, the other option is to swap it with a Liverpool defender or Arsenal defender, right? That's where you're going to improve your defense if we think there's better options in midfield.
Yeah, it's probably there. Oh, this is where the Trippier conversation comes into play. But if you're thinking Newcastle, don't keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, I really don't favor that especially for a free hit.
Yeah,
I don't know, but if you feel like he's important, and we definitely can consider him.
I don't know. We'll keep it out for like this. We'll see. Did we even have Trippier in this conversation? We did. Okay, let's keep Trippier for now, just for value wise.
Yep.
So you don't lose out of the value, even though on a free hit, I don't think it affects value, but just in case, I'm not sure. So who did we have? Castagne, and we had Crystal Palace, right? Guehi.
Yeah, Guehi.
So you're down to 2 spots for
so
now.
I guess this is the point where we decide, is that a triple Arsenal mid
needed, or do you go for Gabriel Jesus?
I mean, again, but I just feel like that's just a safe play. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like that's just too obvious. That's why I suggested the triple Arsenal mid.
Yeah, fair enough.
We could drop Odegaard and get a defender in and not go with Jesus, or we can just drop.
Yeah, no, the upside seems in the attack.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, if we were to like that third striker spot for now,
Tony could be a good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else that stands out? Maybe Isaac for Spurs.
Isaac, yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, Newcastle attack would be one
option. Newcastle attack. Isaac or Callum Wilson? I think Isaac probably starts, right?
I don't even know who starts anymore.
Wilson's minutes are, I think, managed somewhat. Isaac still somehow manages to get minutes.
Okay, and Isaac is it? It is.
We'll put Isaac for now, but I think Tony also could be a decent shout. And then you got your final defensive option.
For anyone.
Let's see who's been transferred in. Alex Moreno.
Done.
Okay, so let me just make sure I play free hit. Confirm transfers and play free hit. So you'll have something like, what is it? Maybe Guehi. Over Trippier. And then do you have Castagne over Yeah, something like this, was it?
Yeah. I'll probably start Isak over. Oh, actually, no, you will probably start Solanke. Just
Ooh,
I don't know.
depends on how far that West Ham game goes.
Yeah,
But
and
I
depending
agree.
on what happens in the Europe game.
Yeah. Uh, Moreno or Trippier. Look, you have two attacking fullbacks over two.
I mean, except Guehi.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we start Moreno over Guehi.
Um. Yeah. Interestingly, I've noticed we've picked an entire home team except for Watkins.
Yeah.
Except for Aston Villa, everyone else is at home.
Yeah. I saw that in my draft as well. There's a lot of favorable home fixtures.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so I guess we'll keep it like this, and then we'll ask the bench from the others as well, see what they want.
Yeah.
Captain.
Moreno is actually because Villa's defense has been pretty
Yeah.
good last few weeks, so that's why I think he'll be.
So over Wolves.
Well, I still like Castani as a differential.
Yeah, so they know Guehi.
Yeah.
Because Everton could sometimes get something, you never know. That's a
Again,
relegation battle there.
Yeah. I think something to check with the other team as well. I think
Yeah.
we don't have any Crystal Palace.
Yeah, exactly. Fair
So
enough.
that could be a consideration. So yeah, I think a couple of things here. So if we really feel like the Arsenal mid is too much and we really want Jesus in,
Yep.
that's definitely something we can do straight away. And then we can bring in maybe a Palace mid in to replace someone.
Yeah. I guess if we're going, we'll see what everyone else is. I'll let these guys know on the deadline stream anyways. But yeah, this is what a differential free hit team looks like. Keep in mind differential. I need to stress on the word differential because this is not
But
necessarily.
in saying that, I would
It's been
say
doing so
majority
good.
of players are already in my
Yeah,
my
exactly.
so it's not really differential.
Yeah, I would say that like you would have 4, 5 like Watkins template, Salah template, Saka template, Martinelli template, Trent template. The rest, so you're basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and I guess 2 midfield spots are differential.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, that's it. The rest are templates. So it's
Cool.
almost a 50% template team, to be
It is.
honest.
Yeah.
Cool. That's basically it. Anything else to add?
No, not really. I'm just like hoping that the free hit this week works well
Yep.
for a lot of the free hitters. I think a couple of things to watch out for is the West Ham game to see how they go, and if hopefully they'll get too tired, then you can load up on an extra Bournemouth player.
Yeah, fair enough.
Really think they're gonna get smashed, but then I think if any news of Liverpool news would come, that will help seeing who starts. That would be probably one thing.
That's a bit low. Arsenal news probably easy because they're the first game. So yeah, Liverpool unfortunately are the next day. No, they're on the same day. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
It's a Friday deadline, by the way. I need to tell you.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So that's so it's the next day, Liverpool. So
Right.
Arsenal one is a Friday deadline.
Saturday midnight. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So don't forget to save your team.
Yeah. I want to set my team up. I just need to tweak it.
Okay, yeah, cool. So Arsenal news is possible. Liverpool news not probably. But yeah, that's basically it. And then Shubharan says it was a boss week until Liverpool game. Don't mind it as a Liverpool supporter. Well, I definitely needed that Salah haul for Green Arrow. Then he went from 121k to 100k to back to 119k. I can relate, and I think Rushan can also kind of relate.
I think Salah was really critical.
Yeah.
Had to negate some of my Solanke bench points.
Yeah, fair enough. True. So we'll see how it goes. Almost an hour. Thank you, Rush, for joining me. And yeah, we'll see everyone on the deadline stream. Thank you to Ishak and Shubharan as well, and anyone else who's watching this back later. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe while you're new. We are on 517 subscribers, trying to get to 1,000. So let's see how that goes. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all later.
See you guys. Good luck.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock